Hi, this is Trinesha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about check yourself. Why did I do it like the old school movie that used to say, brace yourself, But that's, anyways, let's get back to the video. And so, what made me want to call this check yourself is because sometimes we like to point the finger at other people, or we like to think about what our reaction is to things or how we feel about certain things that people do, instead of thinking that we are all humans and there's always something that we can work on, that we can become better at. There's something that we can grow in. There's something that we can do to advance and to become a better person. And sometimes we feel like because we want something, it has to be done that way. And let me just give a disclaimer. This video is not going to be that long, okay? Because I have to get to bed and I got some other stuff I have to do in the morning, so I can't be on here too late. And I know you're probably like, you always got something to do. I know. But I try to keep myself busy because the idle mind goes hungry. And so whenever I get a moment to like just be, sometimes God will say rest, and I rest. I don't like go out just trying to do something crazy. I try to make sure I stay focused on God. And so I, for one, am like, I definitely can say I've had moments in my life where I needed to check myself. I might have been talking to someone, I might have been friends with someone, I might have been at work or wherever I was in my life, or maybe when I was younger, and someone would say or do something, and immediately, because of the hurt past, because of the things I've been through, I would try to snap to some sort of judgment, like, oh, they're saying this because they don't like me. They're saying this because, they hate me. They're saying this because they have something against me. But it's nothing to do with you. The whole time it was something to do with them personally, something internally that they were struggling with on their own. And it's so funny how we can just internalize things like that. I have been guilty of that in the past as well. We just, we can't see it from another person's perspective. And it's really hard to see it that way because they are thinking of things totally differently. And so, like, a long time ago, I might have had someone who said something like, oh, yeah, I'm just, really going through a lot. And immediately, before I started working on myself, I would be like, oh, you know, I don't understand why they don't, I don't know why they, and I would start to think things like that. And then I had to really check myself. I really had to sit there and think of, listen, it's not always about you. It's not always about what you want. It's not always about what's beneficial for you. Sometimes it's about what's beneficial for the other person. And if God placed this on my heart back in the day when I first was start, like, after I felt like I was healed, but I wasn't really healed, and so I was like, oh, I think I'm ready. And so I was out, thinking that I was going to go on a date or meet people and stuff like that. And I realized that I just wasn't healed enough at that time. And so God really placed on my heart and was like, it is not always just about you. Sometimes you have to take a moment and think about what other people are going through. Sometimes, and especially, this is the part that hit me, that God said, if you want to care about somebody else, if you really truly care about the well being of any other person, and you're saying you want to be with this person or that person, you have to consider how the other person feels. It's not just about how you feel in that moment. You might feel disappointed, but the other person is going through something as well. You might feel hurt, but the other person may be hurting as well. When you are in a relationship, a lot of relationship people say that it's about dying to yourself every day, because you can't just be selfish. You have to consider the other person. You have to consider what they want, what they need, what they like, what they don't like. And I try to, like, always make sure I check myself when I'm doing different things. When people respond to me, it could be friends, it could be anyone. Before I jump to a conclusion and say, this person is, I always try to take a moment and say, hey, is this really about me, or is this about something else? Can I really just take the time, if I say that I care about this person, can I take that time to really see why they feel this way? Can I acknowledge that their feelings are relevant? Me caring about them allows them to care about me as well, because it shows them that I personally take it to heart. I personally care about their well-being. I personally want them to do better or to be better. If I care about someone, even if it hurts me, and I don't mean it in like a they're just draining me kind of way. I mean it in a like I really truly care or love this person. And so because I love them, I want them to have the best. I don't want them to just have the bare minimum because I want them to stay where I'm at. Sometimes we got different levels that we need to go to, and God needs to take us there, and not everybody can come with us. And I know it hurts sometimes because you're like, I want to take everybody, but not everybody can enter those rooms. Not everybody can do what God gifted inside of you to do. And so you have to be mindful of that when you're doing different things. You have to be mindful of where God is taking you and mindful of someone else's feelings. And someone else's feelings, even if you can't understand it, even if you're like, I don't understand why they're feeling that way, you really have to take a moment and say, okay, I might not understand why they're feeling that way, but because I care about them, I want to make sure that I respect their feelings. I respect them as a human being and I respect their feelings. And if they are going through something, if they're feeling a certain way, if something is going on in their life, I truly, truly care about their well-being. I care about them as a person. And so I told you this wasn't going to be long. In conclusion, I am not going to say that in this video. I might. I was going to say, I was going to say, yeah, sometimes you got to check yourself before you rickety wreck yourself. Everybody just unsubscribed at that moment. Oh my gosh. But no, definitely, I hope. I can't believe I just said that, but whatever. Listen, it's a thing. So, whenever you're doing something in life, make sure you think about how the other person feels. Do you neglect your own feelings? No. I'm not saying just ignore your feelings and only cater to someone else. I'm saying that for me personally, when I feel a certain way, I give myself the time to deal with whatever it is that's happening. Like if someone can't do something, I understand for the most part. Usually I'm like, okay, life happens. That's just, it is what it is. I understand that. When it comes to like, when it comes to something that someone is going through, and even if I'm like, okay, well, I'm a little disappointed, I will take the time to acknowledge that I'm disappointed. And then afterwards, I will check on the other person to make sure that they're good. And it's not that I'm trying to like play games or anything like that. It's just that I want to allow myself the time to process it the right way. So I don't just say, you didn't come to this. I can just say, okay, they might not have come, but their heart's in the right place, but they do care, but they are a good person, whatever else it is. And so I try to make sure that I give people the benefit of the doubt in the right circumstances. I don't want to say just everybody gets a free pass and just act like, they don't care about my well-being. I'm saying that if something is going on in someone's life, I understand that life happens. I'm not the type of person who's so cruel and so selfish that I think that it's all about me and I don't care about how somebody else feels. Like I don't want to say obviously, but I definitely care about what someone else feels, how someone else feels about something, because it's not just about me. It's about everybody else as well. When I'm in a friendship, it's about my friends and me. It's not just about what I want, in my family. It's, about what everyone wants. They try to make sure that we're compromising. When I'm with someone in the future, I would want to make sure that I'm considering what they're going through, that I'm praying for them, that I'm making sure that they are okay, that I'm making sure that they have the things that they need, and that if they're struggling, they feel comfortable talking to me. I don't want any person to ever feel like I'm judging them and like I'm just like, oh, whatever, Like usually if someone says something that I don't like, I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? Like I take a moment to really try to redirect my thought process so that I can really acknowledge the other person's feelings, because I want them to know that their feelings are relevant. I want them to know that I care about them as a person. I want them to know that it's okay. And I don't want them to feel like they can never talk to me because I was judgmental. I want them to know I'm lending my ear to them, that I'm lending myself to be there, to be in a position to receive what it is that they're saying, because it's not just, my pastor always says this, it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. Sometimes we like to think about what we can benefit from a situation. But I'm learning, the more older that I get, the more I start to meet people and friendships or whatever, I start to realize that, it really does matter what other people are going through. It really does matter what other people need, and the best way to be the best friend or whatever else is to really, truly see someone for who they are and not just make them into something that you want them to be. You have to really allow people to be who they are. Nobody can be better at being themselves than you are. Like, no one's better at being you than you. No one's better at being me than me. And so we really have to just know who we are. We have to acknowledge other people's feelings and check yourself. Just check yourself. Don't allow your own insecurity, your own thoughts, your own feelings to cloud your judgment about somebody who's really a decent person or someone who you really truly care about. So make sure that you are being intentional with your life and that you consider how someone else feels.